here. Welcome, Councillor Heke. Well, please be seated. And the first item on our agenda is no apologies of leave of absence have been requested, and it's lovely to have Tania Hopmans is here to support our Deputy Mayor's valedictory speech. So lovely to have you join us today. Now we have a reminder today that this is a very full agenda, councillors, and can I ask you to address conflicts of interest in the usual manner as we come to them. And confirmation of minutes of the council meeting held on the 4th of September and minutes of the council meeting held on the 9th of September. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Watkins, seconded Councillor Burrow. Any clarifications to those minutes? No, I'll put those minutes. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Any against? Thank you. That is carried. Item 5 is our mayoral verbal update, and since our last report, there has been some incredibly wonderful things happening at Heretaunga Hastings to share with you. And I do thank, and if I miss any of our councillors off, you've all been incredibly busy, and I'm really grateful to how many of you have attended so many of these events. And it's been wonderful for our community to see so much greatness happening in our district. So some of the key events in the last month was, of course, the Mōtio Puketapu Bridge opening, and it was absolutely wonderful to celebrate the official opening of this beautiful new bridge on the 23rd of August. It was a very momentous morning. It was a very moving morning. Many of our residents there, around 500, were out to celebrate at a very moving service by our mana whenua at 6 a.m. And can I thank our Deputy Mayor Tania Kerr, who facilitated the opening, and it was incredible to see the two sides of our community of Puketapu being reunited and reconnected. It was just a very moving time. We had the great Daffodil Day fun run, and thank you to, we saw Councillor Sholem out there and Councillor Harvey, and I'm sure there was other councillors as well, but everyone had this a very, very special fundraiser for the Cancer Society at our regional sports park. And what a great event that was. And I thank Sukdeep and our multicultural community of arranging that fun day and that fundraising for Cancer Society. I had my final Heretaunga Seniors meeting. We sing, I update them and everything that is going on in our district, and joined them for their 27th of August meeting, and it was lovely to be acknowledged by our beautiful seniors in the St Martin's Hall. Mayor Kirsten Wise and I attended a significant meeting at EIT with the Minister Penny Simmons, Minister of Vocational Education, and who recognised and acknowledged the journey of our tertiary institute, which over the past 3 years through Te Pukenga has been a very difficult and challenging time for us in Te Mātou o Māui. And to have the standalone institution stand up again in January 26 is incredibly exciting. A newly appointed established advisory board will oversee the transition for this autonomy of us taking back our wonderful EIT. This group comprises of David Pearson, Kerry Marshall and Tam Jex-Blake, along with a community advisor, Mr. Chris Collins. So it's a great team to line up, past members, and they will help us for the next year get set up, so we'll establish a full board in a year's time. I attended the Bailey's Hawke's Bay AMP Society wine launch, and they're changing it up this year. It will be down at our Tawona Showgrounds, and it will be a different format and more affordable, so more people can attend. The Heretaunga Hastings Art Gallery opening of Burning Ground exhibition showcased our amazing architect John Scott, and we really, really enjoyed it. Councillor Sholem and so anybody else who attended. It was, if anyone hasn't seen this exhibition at our gallery, please go and have a look. It's quite exceptional. It showcases the house of John Scott in the Pakipaki pottery mills, and it's all part of the Arts Festival. As a patron of the Hastings and Napier Women's Refuge, I was delighted to attend the family VIP inspirational speakers and live entertainment at Elephant Hill Winery. And I'm so grateful that the team raised $60,000 for Family VIP and Women's Refuge at Elephant Hill that night. It was a beautiful gala dinner and a great auction. We had a 130-year celebration of our cathedral at St Matthew's Church, attended by Councillor Watkins and Councillor Dixon and myself, and it was really, really cool to recognise our beautiful church of St Matthew's. Alongside Mayor Little, we participated in the Lindisfarne Leadership Forum that was held with the Leaders of Tomorrow program and led by Chris Proctor, our chair of our Youth Council last year, and Fergus, the head boy of Lindisfarne. It was a wonderful leadership program. Kids Sing, attended on behalf of Councillor Monteputo Hendry. Thank you for attending this on my behalf. Wonderful Kids Sing at Toi Toi. I attended the Fantasyland History Talk, and if anyone hasn't seen that, I would suggest you all see it. And Councillor Butto, Councillor Sholem, I think Councillor Watkins, you were there. It was an incredible talk to hear the history of Fantasyland. And I hope that everybody, all our staff and all of our councillors in the new council get a chance to see this and hear the history, and puts lots of things in perspective. Councillor Teo Skipworth was there as well at the talk, I think. Yes. Sorry, if I miss anybody out, we were trying to remember, weren't we, Karen, everybody who attended. We need to have a roll call. We had an incredible, Councillor Butter and I attended with the multicultural community, the Indian community, at the Peak Vision Church, the Kerala cultural community, and I was privileged to be dressed in traditional costume. It's a celebration of harvest in India, but for us, we're in the celebration of spring in the beginning, and their time of this year in India is celebration of harvest. So that was a beautiful event and a great celebration. Councillor Fowler and I attended the Hastings Choral Society as me as the patron, songs and shows of tomorrow, and that was a beautiful concert in St Matthew's Church, also with Councillor Watkins. Thank you for attending, Councillor Fowler, the Hawke's Bay Hindu in Havelock North, a Ganesh festival, and that was really enjoyable, and thank you for attending on my behalf. I had my final meeting with Grey Power representatives in my office. We have a bi-monthly meeting and we hear all of their concerns and challenges, whether it's a pothole or whether it's something incredibly significant to them, and we had our final meeting with Grey Power. The Museum Research and Archive Centre, what an incredible new place, and thank you to all of our councillors who attended that, and hopefully the team will have it open by April, as I hear the date, where our community can go to our Museum and Archive Centre and be able to research and seek some of the special taonga from decades and centuries ago. The Guthrie Smith evening was wonderful. It's the Trust Board, is incredible what they're doing, and thank you to Councillor Fowler who attended with me. The annual Young Achievers Awards was held by the Lions Club. It was incredible to see our young achievers from across Flaxmere, Hastings and Havelock North. And my goodness, we've got some great young people who are achieving great things. I was a guest speaker at Let's Talk Māori Wards, a public hui held in Taradale, with many of our councillors who attended, and that was a really interesting perspective on everybody's views on Māori wards, and Councillor Teo Skipworth gave an incredible perspective, and so did Councillor Curtin, and so did Mayor Alex Walker, and it was very well received. We had a wonderful celebration with Councillor Harvey, Councillor Sholem and Councillor Skipworth at Kuhumai Park opening recently, the Pocket Park, brought together by our community for our whānau pounamu, the most beautiful pocket parks put up alongside Kuhumai's centre, and how special that was. And Pastor Warren and Sarah, just incredible, and all the agencies and all the community have funded this place for our most vulnerable community. We held the wine auction this year, and it was amazing to see $365,000 fundraised, and thank you to Councillor Harvey, Councillor Baru, Councillor Sholem, who attended with me, and Councillor Corbyn. What an amazing, the biggest number ever for the hospice, so what a great result. We had a wonderful karakia with the Deputy Mayor at Rissington Bridge and the Chief Executive, and blessed by Tipene Cotterill, and talked about the significance of the area. And it was wonderful to work with Fulton Hogan again to get this new Rissington Bridge, which we hope will be up and built in the next 10 to 12 months. So very exciting, that Rissington Bridge blessing. We had a wonderful breakfast launch with Toitū Te Reo, supported by our kaumātua Papa Jerry, Councillors Tio Skipworth, Councillor Jessup, Councillor Apatu, Councillor Harvey, a whole lot of you, Councillor Dixon, most of the councillors. And thank you for all being there, and how special it was to welcome our Queenie, our Māori Queen, to attend that very, very special launch. With Mayor Kirsten, I was delighted to attend Rural Women New Zealand Centennial High Tea, 100 years of Rural Women, and we had a beautiful celebration with the Korokipo branch. And it was incredible to hear the stories of our rural women and the advocacy and the importance, and it came at the same time as the Women's Suffrage Week, and so it was a very special and moving event. A very significant MOU was signed in my office with Tamatea Pōkai Whenua on the 18th of September, attended by Takatuma Māori Ward councillors and Councillor Henry Hickey. The purpose of the MOU was to formally record the relationship and recognise our PSGE, Tamatea Pōkai Whenua, and the mandated post-settlement governance entity, and the takiwā of Hiritonga Tamatea, Hastings and Central Hawke's Bay, and a work program that will come far beyond us. The Women's Suffrage Flag Raising Day was a very, very important and special day for us, 132 years on, and it was very moving, and I'm very grateful to Hiritonga Women's Centre for their work and effort to care for our wahine, and this work is more important today, as important today as it was 132 years ago, that women need to be seen and heard and having the opportunity to reach their potential. It was a wonderful ceremony. We had the whānau wānanga at Pakipaki Marae, and with a beautiful pōhiri, and we welcomed over 60 of our young tuia from around Aotearoa, New Zealand. That was very moving for us to host that. These young Māori leaders are our future, and we saw how special it was for them to come to our district and to celebrate their weekend of wānanga. Learning and concerns about the environment was their theme, and they were doing a lot of work out there to protect our environment. So I was very proud to welcome our New Zealand tuia to our district. And Ian, thank you for the invitation to attend the Havelock North Rebus and talk to the Rebus Club, and a great membership of people from the business community, past and present, and be able to share some of the works that go on at council. Sometimes we struggle to get our message and how our council operates unless we have the opportunities to speak to our community. So thank you for the opportunity to speak to your club. Tatsumi New Zealand Japanese strawberry launch, and this is we'll have strawberries leaving our district every month all year round now with a new variety. So it was a special launch with the ambassador from Japan at Clive in this incredible expansion of this new, beautiful, beautiful strawberry operation. And they all fly in these beautiful boxes over to Japan, these magnificent sweet strawberries. See, there's so much going on, honestly. I'm exhausted to think about it. So we attended the AGM, and a number of us did. Citizens Advice Bureau, the Knowledge Bank, Hawke's Bay Tourism Industry Association, and Eastern Central Community Trust in the last month. Thank you to all the councillors who joined me at all those AGMs. I really appreciate it. The flag raising ceremonies we held for the Tongan Language Week, and also it coincided with the celebrations of Black Smear's Chatham Park, Papua New Guinea and Tuvalu. And so thank you to everybody who attended those. I opened a new cafe in 944 Hiritonga Street and welcomed a new operator to Stunning Storefit. Fabulous, stunning's happening. Bailey's Wine Awards, and thank you, Elwyn, for attending on my behalf, and great to see our Hawke's Bay wines being showcased and successfully awarded there as they deserve. Michael attended Earth and Fire Conversations, a clay exhibition at the MTG in Napier, and what a finish to our month with the amazing Hastings Blossom Festival, and what a spectacular event. And I acknowledge you, Councillor Watkins, and your amazing float, and I acknowledge everybody that marked the 75th years of us having and celebrating Blossom Festival in our city of Hastings. It was such a joyous occasion, and as one grandfather came up to me and said, "Sandra, this is just what we need." People were so grateful for that beautiful festival. It was an amazing Hastings Day, and we certainly celebrated that magnificent, and the format worked so well with outside Toi Arts and Event Centre with a big concert all day, and a big thank you to the staff, artists, bouncy castles, and all the musical performance. And the cutting of the 75th birthday cake was pretty special with Lynn from Arts in Hiritonga. And it was great to be able to acknowledge Arts in Hiritonga for the amazing work over the 75 years running, well, not all that time, but in the last 20 years, I think, running the Blossom Festival. So with over 65 floats involved this year, certainly our Blossom Festival is strong and alive and well. That concludes my report, you'll be pleased to know. And happy to move, and Councillor Kerr has seconded. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Any against? Thank you, that's carried. Welcome, team. Excellent. Now, we move on to our Deputy Mayor Tania Kerr's valedictory speech, and while we've got all of her family here today, which is just wonderful to see you, and Vicky from our Rural Community Board. Thank you for coming, Vicky, we really appreciate that. And Tania, who has worked closely with our Tania. Shall I read my thing first, or do you? And I now welcome the Deputy Mayor Tania Kerr to come forward to present her valedictory speech. Welcome, Tan.
Ena mana, ena reo, e ra rangatira mā, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou. Thank you, Ms. Sandra. Firstly, I wish to acknowledge those councillors that I have worked alongside that are no longer with us. Your star still shines brightly for me. Standing here in this chamber has always been an honour and a privilege, and you can hear in my voice it still is. As I look around this room, I see not just councillors and staff, but colleagues all working together for months, years, some of us decades, to achieve great things for our community. We are proof that hard work, courage, and collaboration can achieve something extraordinary We each came into council as individuals, yet we end this term as a very united team. And those months and years of shared experiences, made up of countless little moments, have shaped us, changed us, tested us, and grown us. And none more so than me. Over 24 years ago, and I go, my, that's quarter of a century nearly. Back in 2002, I was asked to stand for the Rural Community Board to represent the areas of Te Pōhui, Tūtera, Esk and our northern coastal communities. My first reaction was, me? Who am I to do such a thing? But when I called a few mentors, including Ross Bramwell, and I simply asked the same, who? Me? How can I do such a role? He said, who are you not to do it? We know you can. And so I did. Joy, you'll appreciate this. One didn't win many debates with Ross Bramwell. So here I was, a young mum, a brand new baby, a lot of enthusiasm, energy and drive to succeed. I survived my first term. There were no wrinkles, there was no grey hair, there were no reading glasses required, there was no big print on the speech required. And I learned a lot in the first 3 years. I learned the 3 Ps. Councillors will appreciate this: process, protocol and policy. And the 3 Rs: rates, roading and rubbish. 3 years later, I was re-elected and appointed chair. In that role, I had the privilege of working more closely with Councillor Deborah Turner, a remarkable woman who travelled to town each day 70 kilometres up the Puketitiri Road. My trip was only 50k, so I learned quickly never to complain about distance from town. When Deborah became extremely unwell, she urged me to stand in her ward. And when Deborah told you to do something, you also didn't argue. So in October 2008, I successfully stood for council representing the Mohaka ward. And at the end of that year, a mere 2 council meetings later, I received a letter from Mayor Lawrence, which I still have with me. He writes, and I can hear his voice, Tania, it is early days, but what you say around the table is well thought and articulate. I also, from a very early stage, realised you would not simply follow my views. That is completely how it should be. Oh my, I remember that one council meeting when council voted to purchase Heretaunga House. Yena, this young councillor, I voted against it, the only councillor to do so. It was a lonely place, but it did teach me 2 things. It's okay to stand up for what is right, and I was. And secondly, to effect change, you need to be part of the early process. The Deputy Mayor at the time was the amazing Cynthia Bowes, and she can't be here this morning because she's also doing some work in my community with a catchment group. Wow, I learned so much from her. I watched her manner, her respect, and her quiet determination. She knew her stuff. She knew those 3 Ps, process, protocol, and policy. She was one hell of a role model for a young woman councillor. Tauta Cynthia, thank you. To mana whenua, particularly in my area, Ngāti Hiniuru and Mangaharuru Tangatu, and to some very special individuals, ngā mihi. And to Mare, to you, my friend, thank you. They took a Green politician under their wing and shared wisdom, history, and time. Their generosity will never be forgotten. And especially to my friend Tanya Hopmans. Working with you through part of your settlement process for me was extremely challenging, educational, yet so satisfying. Ngā mihi, aroha mai, aroha atu. It's very special that you can be here online, Tanya. Thank you. During my time on council, I've held many roles, but the two I cherish most are representing my rural community and serving as Deputy Mayor to Sandra. Speaking for a vast rural community with people from all walks of life can both be educational and inspirational. This ward stretches from the Esk Valley, and I'd say this colloquially, halfway to Wairoa, halfway to Taupo, from Risington to Pakatutu, and from Omahu halfway to Taihape to the Kiripahonga Bridge, Mare. Travelling up country roads I'd never heard of, let alone knew where they were, was always an adventure, but the hospitality of rural folks was beyond compare. The best cups of tea and fresh baking ever. This diverse community is really short of an opinion, and there have been many country meetings where I've been quietly, and sometimes not so quietly, educated on their expectations, their needs, and noticeably, Adam, you'll appreciate this, how we should grade the roads properly. But if I step back to where it all began, I must acknowledge my childhood. My parents not only taught me about service to the community, they lived it. Every day from when I was aged 5 to when I left home at 18, they demonstrated what service means. To Mum, who is here today with her sister Moyle, thank you. And to Andy, thank you for calmly managing my comings and goings, the many rural meetings, the cyclone stresses, the early mornings and the late nights. You've planned your weeks around when I might be home to help on the farm, only to find I wasn't home at all. Thank you for your patience. And to our 2 adult sons, Richard's here with us today. George farms over near Taihape and can't be with us. You've only ever known me as part of council. And I acknowledge it is not always easy being the children of somebody in public office. But you have both carried it with grace, and I'm incredibly proud of you. Thank you. To Joy and Ian, thank you for coming today. And I would like to acknowledge that Joy was at our very first Blossom Parade. So I would love you to have a chat to some of our staff and capture some of those memories, Joy. It's very special to have you both here today. Thank you. This council has been an amazing place to serve. I still remember my first board meeting, a young mum, brand new baby, who needed to be fed. And the kindest man, David Fraser, he was part of the lead team, so he was very important. He slipped out and returned with a cup of tea and chocky bickies because he said my wife always needed a cup of tea and chocky bickies when she fed her baby. At that moment, I knew that this was a very special place to work in. From that first wonderful meeting through to the most challenging debates that we've held in this chamber, where views have been fiercely argued, fellowship endured. I've seen the kindness and strength of teamwork and collegiality. I hope that never leaves this council. The value that comes from gathering after such a tough meeting over lunch or a cup of tea. Must not be forgotten. It is so important that we can come together and remember those views. This is who we are. To Chief Executive Nigel, and before you to Ross, thank you for your support of me. But more importantly, thank you for your endless drive to make Hastings the best place to work, live and play. And to the staff, past and present, and some who have come back for this morning, thank you. Some of you I have worked with, I did a count up, for decades. Thank you for your wisdom, your time. Thank you for your kindness. I could not have achieved all that I have without you. I'm hesitant to mention names for fear of missing people, but you all know who you are. And simply, I will miss you. Early on in my career, I was given a piece of advice from a councillor, Mick Lester. He said, always treat staff with respect. Ask for their opinion, ask for their advice. Never, ever tell them what to do. Staff do not work for councillors. Add to that a simple please and thank you, and we have the recipe for success. And to Adam Jackson, thank you for your very kind speech at my final Rural Community Board meeting. To my council colleagues, including everyone that has sat round this table with me, thank you for your commitment to our district. As we know, this is not an easy job, but it is one that can be incredibly rewarding. Ms. Sandra, it has been such a privilege to work with you. There could be no better person to lead this council and community over the last 3 terms. We are different people with different skills, but both driven to serve our community. We've worked well together, we've challenged, and we've found the best outcomes. And together, I believe, we've made a great team. Council, we have many things to be proud of. Over the last 18 years as a councillor, we've achieved so much. And I had to start to take things out of this list. But for me, it was about the drinking water, the municipal complex, the Museum Archive Centre, unlocking significant housing developments, CBD revitalisation, big box retail that is connected to our CBD, Waiaroha, Te Ara Kahikatea, Maitaten Regional Sports Park, a place that is very special to me. 3 beautiful premier parks. When we had money, we did seal extensions in the rural area. There's been rural hall enhancements, fabulous Flaxmere, and more recently the purchase of Te Moana Showgrounds to ensure it remains in public ownership forever. That's just to name a few. And then there is the cyclone recovery. My proudest moment on council was supporting the decision to have Māori wards. Government in the past has made deliberate and tactful decisions to shut out, to prohibit and exclude Māori. And our council made a deliberate and tactful decision to include Māori, to welcome, to guarantee participation in local government, just as we do with central government, to create a Māori ward, the Takatimu ward. It was the right decision for council then, and still is, and one I will always be most proud of. We know the future will again bring challenges, but I hope never again to be as big as Cyclone Gabrielle, or the global financial crisis, or COVID pandemic, or the Havelock North water crisis. I think I've been here too long. But I know the future will also bring opportunities. And I believe what matters is not that we know the answers, but that we remain willing to learn, to listen, to adapt, to have a North Star, a vision or a dream about how great this place can be for our people. Cyclone Gabrielle brought the darkest moments of my career. But each day I choose to remember the good, the resilience, the humour, our recovery, and above all, the people. Because people, meeting them, supporting them, helping them to achieve their aspirations has always been my driving force. That will not change. I'm certain I will find another role in the future. But for now, the time is right for me to step away. And so I do with excitement, tinged with sadness, but mostly with immense pride. Ngā mihi, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
The Treaty of Waitangi, the Treaty of Waitangi that gives our nation strength, that brings us all together under the cry of the Pipi Whārauroa, the shining kupu, the symbol of spring, the symbol of life. Everyone together underneath the sun, together as one.
Just before you sit down, our Deputy, Tan, can I read your citation and present you with your certificate? Councillor Tania Kerr served the Hastings District and its rural communities with distinction for more than 2 decades of public service. She began her Hastings District Council governance journey as a Rural Community Board member in 2001 and chair from 2004. Was elected to the Mohaka Ward Councillor in 2008 by by-election and has remained a steadfast advocate for the rural issues ever since. Appointed Deputy Mayor in 2017, she spent 8 years in the role under Mayor Sandra Hazelhurst, during which time she became known for her balanced leadership, her calm governance under pressure, An enduring commitment to the rural representation, disaster resilience and strategic policy making. Her committee contributions have been extensive, from chairing the Hastings District Licensing Committee to leading or serving on key committees such as strategy and recovery, risk and assurance, performance and monitoring. She has been instrumental in executive oversight through the Chief Executive's Performance Committee and also chaired the Hastings District Holdings Limited, overseeing the council commercial interests and contributing to sound financial stewardship. Tania's leadership during Cyclone Gabrielle was particularly notable. She became a key spokesperson for the rural communities, highlighting the long road to recovery, advocating for infrastructure investment, and promoting household-level preparedness. Her lived experience managing a sheep and beef farm impacted by Cyclone Gabrielle has brought authenticity to her advocacy. A strong supporter of equitable representation, Tania has been a vocal proponent for Māori wards, championing the right of Māori to vote for Māori councillors, just as rural constituents vote for rural representation. She also backed youth participation and governance, including supporting Youth Council committee voting rights. Her deep knowledge of the rural sector, environmental planning and infrastructure resilience was recognised through appointments to the regional climate, transport, waste and development committees, as well as Future Farming Trust Board. After 24 years in public service, 17 of those as a councillor, Tania's legacy is one of steady leadership, principled representation and enduring service to her community. And just a little note from me, but this is your certificate, Tan, and your citation to treasure.
Thank you.
And from me, you have been a wonderful Deputy Mayor, and you have led our council. You have supported me and our councillors through our time together. With your knowledge, your experience, with your love and your kindness. Your hard work and dedication has helped us achieve great things for our people. It has been a journey where the rural elected representative for many years, you have done your community proud, but you're also aware of the needs of our urban community, for which we're truly grateful. Always willing to pick up the challenges, whether it be the areas that you know so much about, like roading and transport, or issues to support our primary sector as we manage one of our biggest industries in our region and recover from Cyclone Gabrielle. Chairing endless community meetings, always find that pragmatic, positive and sensible attitude to find a collective way forward. And sometimes that was very hard. You have always been at my side, offering your leadership and guidance, for which I'm truly grateful for. I will never forget the Barry Crump drive in the ute.
Oh, yes.
After Cyclone Gabrielle, and the Deputy Mayor and the Mayor, probably not protocol to be driving in the farm ute out into the district to see the extensive damage that had been caused by the cyclone. Nevertheless, we did it. I'll drive you, says our deputy. I'll take you up to Tūtera and show you the damage there. And little did I know the extensiveness of the damage, and little did I know the extensiveness of Tania's very skilled driving. As the twin crystal culverts had been washed away, she said, well, just take this down, and all of a sudden there was no road. And we zoomed it from the top of the hill down to the bottom of the gully, in the car, in the ute, and up the other side, holding on for grim life and assessing the damage of the twin culvert. Tan, you have been amazing. You've always been at the end of the phone after a hard week to pick us up. I said I wasn't going to cry today, didn't I? I'm not doing so well. Anyway, we love you. We have loved working with you. You're an amazing person, and we are truly grateful, the team that we've had together, as we've navigated all those challenges and issues that you highlighted in your valedictory speech. But there are so many good things and great times that we've had that have come from our hard times. Enjoy not having to travel up to 2 hours a day. Takes a toll on anybody. And I know it has been difficult for you to be able to get to everything that you've needed to get to with that long drive. So enjoy the next part of your journey, wherever that may take you. And I know there are exciting things in front of you, and we wish you all the very best. And from all of us, there are some special goodies in here, aren't there, Karen? And
Thank you.
and the team have put together, and there's more cards and more gifts that are coming in here somewhere. So
Go for another card.
and I would like to invite the family to join us now for a cup of tea, and we will adjourn the meeting, and it'd be lovely to have you with us to share a cup of tea. So thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you, Sandra. Wow.
Okay. Kia ora koutou katoa. Could we all be seated, please? Kia ora, everyone. That was a wonderful valedictory speech. And thank you to our Deputy Mayor and thank you to everybody. That was just lovely. Now, can I invite Darren come forward, please? This is item 6. And this is the overview of our stormwater network consent.
Thank you, Your Worship, and kia ora everyone. I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about our stormwater network consent, and I'm going to provide just a wee introduction. But firstly, I just want to introduce Grant Russell, and Grant's been actively working with us as part of the project team for many years on this work, so he'll provide a decent update on what's going on in the consent, and we'll tackle the questions together. But I'd also like to acknowledge Dr. Cole, who's sitting in the back there, Māori Apatu as well, and Honey Lee Blake News in the back there too, and they've been integral to the work that Council's been doing in this space around support, guidance, and really kind of making sure that we own the right outcomes through here. So really want to thank them for their kaupapa. Look, the consent that we're talking about here is the global stormwater discharge consent that the District Council holds with the Regional Council, and this paper is providing you an update on the renewal approach and the opportunity this presents for Hastings to build and strengthen our mana whenua relationships, and importantly bring to life the work of Te Ha o Wairaha that was adopted by Council in the middle of last year. And this obviously presents a significant opportunity, not just for stormwater, but for our wider infrastructure and our relationships as well. The report is an information update report, but it also seeks to gain endorsement to progress with the next steps. And there are about 4 or 5 next steps that are key for the project team to move forward with. So with that, I'll hand over to Mr. Russell, and he'll provide you a couple of other key updates. Kia ora.
Kia ora. Thank you, Darren, and my acknowledgements to Honey Lee and Mate and Dr. Anthony Coles as well. So without reading through the report in its entirety, it is an update in terms of the stormwater consent. So the original consent was lodged in 2010, had a life or consent duration of 12 years, taking us through to February 2022. Working closely with mana whenua, we ended up revising the application so that it met a number of concerns that were worked through during that period of time. However, when it was lodged, and we needed to lodge it to continue discharging stormwater under the Section 124 provisions of the RMA, it was time to pause and work closer with, and I'll call mana whenua in a general sense. So as a result, we are now heading towards a revised application with some fantastic input from mana whenua, not only now but continuing forward. There was the original consent granted for a period of 12 years has now been well informed by a number of monitoring data and information that needs to be supplemented a lot from mana whenua. And so with that, on that journey heading to where we are now, it was suggested a 20-year consent would be desirable, but that's coupled with some transformational conditions that we are drafting up, along with your typical RMA compliance type conditions as well. Mr. de Klerk just mentioned around the next steps, so that's the background in terms of where we are now, and then the next steps are really looking at obviously the continued engagement with the mana whenua, working through consent conditions that meet the aspirations and values that are expressed in their cultural assessment aspirations report. Obviously we need to look at the costs of this going forward. That's quite critical, and so we're having some very open dialogue with mana whenua around what that looks like heading forward. One of the key elements within the framework for the consent is an integrated catchment management plan. I'm in very early discussions with Regional Council around what that looks like. it's untested, given that that particular condition, that particular rule in the tank provisions is for local authorities and a reticulated network, and currently regional council said to me yesterday that there hasn't been one, so I'm drawing them very close to have a collaborative approach with them to see what this integrated catchment management plan looks like, and then we're going to work through what that can achieve going forward if we run with a 20-year consent duration. And I think the other key element is around the mechanisms for a joint committee. So that's going to be leaning into the current Tangata Whenua HDC Joint Committee for Wastewater and looking at establishing a similar approach for stormwater around that particular portfolio. So those are the recommendations that Mr. de Klerk mentioned. One is to receive the report as tabled, and the other one is to endorse those steps that I've just provided at a high level. Kia ora.
Kia ora. Thank you. Questions? Councillor Apatu.
Thank you, Your Worship. Would you like to take comments and questions together, or?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. First of all, I really totally endorse this approach, the consent renewal approach, and the opportunity this presents for Hastings District Council to build on the strengthened mana whenua relationships. As chair of the Tangata Whenua Wastewater Committee, I've seen how well that works. It does make entire sense to me. I've noted the time it has taken for the cultural review, but good things take time. And I understand that there is some really good feedback from mana whenua about the ongoing approach that this could take. I just have a couple of queries. Has it been considered that the Tangata Whenua Wastewater Committee and this Stormwater Committee join together?
Through you, Your Worship. Yes, so one of the things that we're looking at doing is with the recommendation that exists is to work with the incoming council as part of the governance structure establishment to look at what's most appropriate. Again, we need to work through that, but yeah, I think a really feasible option is to merge the committee or broaden the committee to include stormwater as well.
Kapa, I would endorse that approach. My other query is, how does this piece of work link to our new water entity, Local Waters Done Well?
Through you, Your Worship. Look, I think what we're wanting to do is get ahead of that. As you have seen described by Mr. Russell, this is a really transformational piece of work. We're leading the way a little bit in the integrated catchment plan and other things. It's been really well informed, and obviously the earlier approach was around getting the Section 124 right, so we've got something to operate within, and then taking our time to really develop the conditions. The intent is we would like to get this lodged and granted prior to the entity coming on board, so we're able to hand something over to the entity and not run the risk of them changing how we approach this and bring into some other considerations. So really getting ahead of that so that the new water entity would pick it up and help us comply with the conditions and bring those to life.
Fantastic. Lastly, just to endorse and thank you for the very good work that I've read in this paper, and happy to move the recommendations, Your Worship.
Kia ora. Thank you, Councillor Apatu. Thank you, Councillor Kerr. Any further questions or comments, councillors? Thank you. No further questions or comments. I'll put those recommendations. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Any against? Thank you, that's carried. Good luck, team. Well
Thank
done.
you.
Thank you. Item number 7. Thank you to the team who have joined us today. It's lovely to have you in the chamber, and thank you for being with us for the morning, and really appreciate that. Now, item 7 is the Canning Road pedestrian crossing. Welcome to you, Bruce. This seems pretty straightforward, and I think absolutely critical, I would say, given all the activity in Canning Road. Councillor Fowler.
Happy to move, Your Worship.
Thank you. Councillor Sholem.
Happy to second.
Thank you. Bruce, did you want any comments added to your paper?
Through you, Your Worship, I think with it is probably one of the elements through here is it's effectively a cost-share approach between Te Whatu Ora and Hastings District Council. It's opportune because it does recognise the development of a range of specialist medical facilities on the western side of Canning Road. So effectively it creates a link within that sort of overall medical campus area.
Excellent. Good collaboration. We love that. Very good. Okay, so we've got to move in a second. Do any other questions or comments from any other councillors? No, I'm going to put those recommendations. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Any against? Thank you. That's carried. Thank you very much for this work, Bruce. Item 8 is Outer Housing Operational Management Policy, Te Pāharakeke. Welcome to Dean and Bex. It was wonderful to have a look at Te Pāharakeke last week and see the progress that has been made so quickly. It's a beautiful development.
Thank you, through you, Your Worship. Yeah, this is just to seek approval from Council in regards to the additions and amendments to the Council's outer housing policy, previously known as the Senior Housing Operational Management Policy. So the additions and the amendments reflect probably a couple of key points. One is around ensuring that Council remains 100% sort of cost recovery through rent for our senior housing portfolio, which is reflected through the policy itself. And the second part is around introducing the Te Pāharakeke, which is Council's new senior housing development consisting of 39 1 to 2 bedroom units in Flaxmere. So the points of difference around the policy and ensuring that we service Te Pāharakeke, which is going to be somewhat different to our existing portfolio, is the fact that one thing all councils in New Zealand struggle with is that sort of affordability versus financial sustainability. So we're having to ensure that Te Pāharakeke is set at a slightly different rate, which is effectively 80% of the median market rate, which is defined by Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. It will be set at that to ensure that the development and what council has to borrow against it remains financially sustainable, and we don't then look at breaching our revenue and financing policy. The other key parts to it is around the definition of older persons and looking at ensuring that with Te Pāharakeke, where it's 1 to 2 bedrooms, we're not trying to ring fence everybody into a defined age as such. It is defined as older persons, which is people sort of entering or nearing or entering into retirement. What we're seeing through sort of recent trends and through central government direction is that the retirement age has been looked at, and people are having to sort of work further into retirement. People are working further into retirement. It's not a lifestyle choice. People are having to due to cost of living. With Hastings, the median market rent across Hastings is around $600 a week. If you look at the superannuation, which is around $512 and minus tax to that, it is unaffordable for people that are entering into retirement that are still renting at the moment. So Te Pāharakeke is still looking at servicing people that are entering into retirement at 80% of the market rate. So it is still sort of affordable for people that are entering into that sort of bracket. Anything to add, Mr. Moody? No. Happy to take any questions and take the report as read. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dean. Councillor Kerr.
Your Worship, I was just wondering if I could apply for a spot.
Aren't they beautiful? No, says it.
Absolutely beautiful. I just do have a question, please, and it's regarding the two different standards of home we've got. We've got this new Te Pāharakeke, which is 80% of the market, affordable housing, and we've got our current elder stock. I just want confirmation that with the price and with the rent increases with the current stock, that they will never get to as much as Te Pāharakeke. That there's some balance that will stop our older stock of homes being charged rental near the rent that we would charge for this beautiful new Te Pāharakeke.
Through you, Your Worship. Thank you, Councillor. Well, in the policy, you would have seen that we're now asking for a 5.3% increase in our current senior stock year on year. But ultimately, that decision will come back to this council table. So every 3 years, it will now come back to you. So it will be a council decision to make sure that that rent, it's currently about 63% in old stock. So it will be a council decision about where that goes to in the future.
Thank you, Worship. I'll come forward back councillor for 3 years.
Thank you. Councillor Sholem.
Thank you, Worship. My question is around D, which is the reviewed improvement, the review cycle, moving from annually to every 3 years. I wholeheartedly support that, but I'm just interested in how that three-year cycle will work. Will that align with the LTP, or is it going to be aligned with right now? Because I have some concerns with the review cycle coming up in election years. I think it's better that they're done in sync with the LTP.
Through you, Your Worship. I mean, the policy says every 3 years, but we can obviously bring it back sooner, and we can do that to align with the LTP.
I think that's a good
Follow up,
idea.
if I may, Your Worship. Does that require a change to the recommendations to enable that, or is that something that could be taken as an action, seeking guidance?
Take as an action.
Thank
Take
you.
it as an action, thank you. Councillor Apatu.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just to clarify with the team, we've learnt quite a bit with our existing housing stock and our rentals, and now we're moving into a brand new area. Have we ensured that there will be a bit of buffer with our rentals? I know we're trying to be affordable as possible, but it's just ensuring that there is no cost to ratepayers. Will we build in a little bit of contingency, or how does that work?
Through your worship. So we're locked in with HUD, Ministry of Housing and Development, for 15 years as part of our grant funding agreement. As part of that, we had to provide sort of robust modelling around how we ensure that this project is financially sustainable. The report will detail that after year 10, we start creating a slight buffer, but also probably something to sort of bear in mind is that after year 10, that's when you start going through some of your significant maintenance to ensure that you maintain the facilities. So we want to ensure that it's maintained for the long run, and in order to sort of maintain warranties and so forth, that there will have to be some expenditure. But our team, through our building facilities team, have factored it in through repairs and maintenance, and then whatever that sort of buffer looks like for tenants that are exiting or onboarding.
Thank you. Councillor Nixon.
Thank you, Worship. Excuse me. Just item D, I've sort of got a question there. Can I just make a comment first so it'll explain the question? There's two things happening in society at the moment. I see yesterday, I think it was in the media, reports that there are pressures to increase the pension age at which it becomes eligible. And the second one is we know this is a growing segment that is, there's getting more and more people. And so the question on D is really, will that give us the flexibility to be able to respond at short notice to the sort of changes such as I mentioned, because the pension age starts changing, and I think it will, I think it's inevitable, to respond to that appropriately.
Through you, Your Worship. Thank you, Councillor. Even though it says 3 years, we have the ability to bring it back at any time if we need to discuss things with Council. So it doesn't mean that we can't come back sooner if there's any such changes such as those.
I sort of assumed that. I just wanted to make the point.
Thank you, Councillor Nixon. Councillor Hickey.
Kia ora, Worship, and thank you, team, for obviously taking us through last week. It was awesome to go through our senior housing up there. And I support a lot of the comments that have been made. I do have a question, though, so as someone who grew up in a family where my older sister was actually raised by my grandmother, the question that's been asked of me in our community recently is how does this cater for our grandparents who are 65 years old and plus, who actually are legal guardians of those moko puna or moko puna? How do we consider in any of our housing complexes? That's the first question. Noting that it is a senior housing development.
Through you, Your Worship. Thank you, Councillor. We have debated this issue as officers, but there's a number of key points that means that we believe that children will not be allowed to live at the complex. That doesn't mean they won't be able to stay over and visit. But the key points are, is a purpose built for older people? So they are, as you've seen, small units that are accessible for our older people, but also their grounds are built for seniors as well. They're not built for whānau. So they're not really suitable for families, and we know we have other housing in the district that is much more suitable for families. It also protects the older tenants' rights to a more quiet, safe environment. The complex is set up for older people, so we do want to protect that right for those people that it is built for. And it ensures that our complex delivers on what MHUD have actually given us the funding for, which is around senior housing.
Again, appreciate the response of that, and it's just so that I can feed that back to our community. I do have a second question, and it's, if I may, and that's in regards to developments that we have done in some of our senior housing. That's around installing heat pumps. And so what's happened is finally have turned off the heat pumps because they can't afford the power. Have we considered in our new developments consideration for like solar power energy or energy saving systems?
Yeah, through your worship. So the units are being designed and built to Homestar 6 guidelines, which is around sort of energy efficiency, practicality, accessibility, functionality, and so forth. So they will be well insulated, double glazed. You'll see that there's the high pitched roofs through the Te Ranga design principles, but the ceilings are of 2.4 metres high, so they'll be sort of warm in the winter. We have future-proofed them, so they are pre-wired for solar. We don't have the budget for that, and unbudgeted expenditure today. More than happy to put them on, but we don't have that. So, but they are future-proof, so that as we see through successive governments, that there are initiatives that come out. So it won't be intrusive to the build itself. It'll be a matter of swapping over meter boards and putting the panels on the roof. So there is that option in the future, but for the time being, they will be energy efficient and will be a lot more efficient than our existing stock.
Great. And so just from those two questions that I asked, is that, and I do see that there is a marketing plan that is coming to council and will be delivered to our community. And I think it's really important that those two questions I've asked, that messaging in regards to communicating that to our families is really important. And then possibly some of our older stocks, how we consider solar power in the future. Someone else might want to partner with us, but I do appreciate you bringing the paper and I'm happy to move the paper and when it gets to that stage.
Kia ora, thank you, Councillor Heke. Councillor Teo Skipworth.
Thank you, Worship. Yeah, I want to talk the solar power initiative as well. How do we manage, my question is, how do we manage expectation of those that are currently in our current stock of housing? Because what I've seen is they want to have a nice, brand new, warm, insulated, double glazed home as well. So how do we manage expectation for those that are in our current stock? And then, and then I've got another question after that, Your Worship.
Through you, Your Worship. All our current stock does meet healthy home standards, so it's not as if they aren't warm and ventilated, etc. But they are two quite different cohorts, and obviously the pricing of the rent will affect who goes into which complex, and there's not really two ways around that. So we'll just need to be really clear in when we do go out to advertise the new units later this month in October, that we're really clear on the differences and the selection process and the application process.
Thank you. And just want to talk of the comments around our kaumātua having their mokopuna with them. There's a difference in the words termed families and whānau. There's a difference in the words deemed older and kaumātua, and I would really suggest that we delve into those terms of wording to ensure that we are meeting the needs of Māori. Kia ora.
Well, thank you, Councillor Teo Skipworth. Do we have a seconder, councillors, please? Councillor Nixon, thank you. Any further debate? Councillor Corbyn?
Thank you, Your Worship. I do have one question. I see part of the assessment criteria is assets less than 80,000. Yeah. Is there a criteria around income, considering these people are near retirement?
Yeah, so through your worship, you'll see that the eligibility from a sort of financial is slightly higher than our existing stock. That's to ensure, again, around that affordability versus financial sustainability piece. But the definition in the policy does include sort of income, it includes any investments and so forth up to 80,000. You know, statistics show us that with, you know, the average KiwiSaver at the age of 65, the average New Zealander has between 50 and 70,000 in a KiwiSaver. You know, that's effectively, if you're looking at sort of market rent, that's 2 years worth of market rent before their KiwiSaver's gone. So we are trying to sort of create that bit of a buffer there, so where people are entering into a super, they're able to earn up to a certain amount and they still have a bit of KiwiSaver there, that we're not creating any financial hardship.
Thank you. Councillor Corbyn, you satisfied with that response? Yes, thank you. I have a move and a second. No further comments or any further questions. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Any against? Thank you. Carried. And congratulations to the team and good luck for the next stage in the journey. And we look forward to hearing how well you go. Very, very exciting to see this wonderful new housing coming into our beautiful Pāharekeke. Tana, if you could just chair this item, please. Item 9, this is Tomora Showgrounds Charitable Trust Governance Arrangements, and I'll exit.
To council, are you happy that I chair this part of the meeting just from here? No.
I think you should go up.
You want to see me up there?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'll swap you for
Last chance, mate.
I'm not sure about this place. This paper's been written by Dean, Bruce and Naomi, so Dean, looks like you're leading us through this, please.
Yeah, great. Okay, thank you. Yeah, through you. Yeah, look, the purpose of the paper is to provide council with an update on the governance arrangements for the Tom Warner Showgrounds, with the establishment of the Tom Warner Showgrounds Charitable Trust, and outline sort of key considerations for advancing the trust role, and to recommend a phased lease transition strategy, working in with the trust and I guess through a partnership role with council. So there's a couple of things that are, I guess, running concurrent at the moment. So the trust was established, in fact, 12 months ago, and since then we've had a number of trust meetings. And one of the key, I guess, in the inaugural trust meeting was around sort of what's the purpose of the trust and what role will the trust play going forward around the lease arrangements or the governance of the grounds, and actually, you know, what does the next 10 years look like for the trust itself. So as part of that, and as part of our sale and purchase agreement with the AMP Society, we've initiated a master planning process for the Tom Warner Showgrounds. We've engaged consultants to undertake a comprehensive process around looking at sort of opportunities, investment models, engaging with key stakeholders, users, leaseholders and so forth, to provide us with a direction around next steps of the trust itself. The other part to that is around working in with the trust and looking at what a phased sort of lease transition strategy looks like. So what role will the trust take on initially? What role will council continue playing? And what does the end state look like for that? So working through a phased transition. So we're not just dumping it all on the trust to start with. We're actually working with the trust and ensuring that the trust is established to start providing direction on the output of the master planning. The trust is well positioned around the resources or the skill set they require in order to be effective trust. And then, you know, what does that phase look like over the next couple of years to ensure the trust is set up? Yeah, so happy to take any questions through that, unless Naomi or Bruce, you have anything further to add? No, thank you.
Thank you, Dean. It sounds like the process is about setting it up for success. So thank you. A question, Councillor Dixon, then Councillor Fowler.
Yeah, thank you, Deputy Mayor. It sounds like a common sense approach to me. Well done. So I'm more than happy to move the recommendations.
Is there a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Fowler. Next speaker, Councillor Fowler.
Yeah, I was just going to say that it's really good driving past the grounds and just seeing what great condition it is since HDC have taken over and wholly support this way forward.
Yeah, I agree. It is beautiful when you drive through. Councillor Harvey.
Yes, thank you. There was just a couple of references to examples of other trusts and stuff that we're involved in, and but I was just keen to know how the Te Mata Park Trust and how that operates in the appointment of new trustees seems to be a good model. I'm just trying to work out what are we looking at there from how do independents get actually appointed, please.
Mr. Allen?
Yeah, through you, your deputy worship.
Outgoing.
So I guess where we've got with this, so we've got the model set up with Te Mata Park Trust, and you're right, it has worked well over the last few years as we've worked through that. It's a good calibre of trustees that are wanting to be part of that. So that model's working well. What's happened through the sale and purchase agreement when council purchased the showgrounds was an outline of the appointment process for the trust. So there's 3 trustees, as the paper alludes to, that are there now, representative of those parties, and the trustee actually outlines the process by which the 2 independent trustees will be appointed, and that it's the mayor and the president of the AMP Society plus an independent person will work through the appointment process. I guess, working through our skills matrix, understanding what skills are required to support the 3 trustees that are there by appointment with their representative functions. So it's outlined. It's different to the Te Mata Park Trust, and I think what we'll need to see is how that evolves and whether it's working and whether change needs to be made. But at the moment, it's outlined in the trustee the process.
Thank you. Can I supplementary question to that? The mayor can that be defaulted back to somebody else? Again, I'm just looking at what we have here for the Te Mata Park Trust and the effectiveness of it, and the number of responsibilities that are on leadership. Is there a way of?
In those situations, the mayor always has an ability to delegate that function. Yeah.
Thank you. Being no further comments, I'm going to put the motion. Councillor Fowler?
Can we just clarify, is the mayor appointed as the mayor or as Sandra Hazelhurst?
So, yeah, as Sandra Hazelhurst, representing Hastings District Council.
Okay, no further comments? I'll put the motion as it is. All those in favour? Whoa! Councillor Te Ao Skipworth.
Thank you, Your Deputy Worship. I just a comment really is it would be really great to see some numbers coming forward to the council table, because in the detail we've had next to nothing. So with previous experience of trusts, it would be great to have numbers coming to the table.
So, Mr. Allen, will you just take that down as an action and make sure that a due course
Financial numbers is what I'm asking.
Yes.
Not phone numbers.
Totally understood. Absolutely. I think when we bring back the options around the trust and the lease arrangements, we'll have financial information supporting what those options look like.
Great, thank you.
Okay, Whānau, before I go to move the motion, are there any further comments? Okay, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. I will now hand the chair back to Her Real Worship, Mayor Sandra. Oh, that's close enough. That's close enough. You look good up here.
Kia ora, thank you, Deputy Mayor. Moving on now to no minor, item 10 and 11, no minor urgent items. Item 12 is a recommendation to exclude the public for items 13, 14, 15, 16 and 17. And I'll now refer to Mr. Craig Cameron to advise us the reasons these items should be in public excluded.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think this is the last time I'll be doing this with you. So, There's 5 matters recommended to be heard and public excluded. There's also a recommendation to allow 2 members of the public to remain in the room for one of the items. Items 17, 13 and 14 relate to council being potentially involved in situations of negotiation. Recommend appropriate at this time that council consider these matters in public exclusion to protect the commercial interests of council and external parties and potential positions for negotiation. Items 15 and 16 relate to matters of procurement. For the same reasons, it's recommended at this time it's appropriate council considers these matters in public exclusion for reasons of commercial sensitivity and to protect council's potential positions for negotiation.
Thank you, Mr Cameron. Any questions, councillors? I do have a recommendation to let Mr Richard Westbury via Zoom and Mr Tom Skirman to be present at the PX session for agenda item 17. So I'm going to take item 17 first.
Happy to move.
Thank
Your
you.
Worship.
Seconded councillor Apatu. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Any against? Thank you, that's carried. And now I move from the chair that we move into PX, public excluded. Thank you to our community who have joined us today for this very important council meeting, and we'll be back again next week. And I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please. Oh, I have a seconder for PX, please. Thank you, councillor Dixon. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Any against? Thank you, that's carried. Oh, we had a seconder. Sorry, Anna.